Good, now I call the meeting to order. First, I've got pledge of allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is the approval of the minutes from August.
From June
Or June.
18th.
There's a motion to approve the minute.
I make the motion that we approve the June 18th, 2025 minutes as presented.
I second it.
Motion been made and seconded, we approve the June 18th, 2025 minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next up is capital improvement plans.
So if you look in your packet, you will see the township capital improvement plan and calculation of estimated transfer to roads and infrastructure fund. And we have Stacy to thank for this packet. She has worked very hard on putting this together. And as you know, this is now a requirement from the state. And we have been doing a capital improvement plan for the fire territory. Now we have added the township. There were some challenges to this process as we waited for the template to come from the Department of Local Government Finance. And Stacy, do you want to pick it up maybe from there?
Sure. So this is the legally required document by DLGF that we'll have to submit to them. I do want to point out that we didn't create this template. So the reason why you see a negative number on the cover page under the general fund, there's clearly a formula error somewhere in the document itself that's causing that error to present itself. However, the calculations actually down here at the bottom, this total amount, $16,505 eligible for transfer is correct. Because we do have a capital improvement plan that does show spending the current cash reserves and money that the township has. So this is the legally required template. There is an expense document to this, but I would rather you, if you don't mind, refer to this document that I added to your packets. This actually will show you, I think, a much easier format to read. Unfortunately, the way the oh, look underneath your that yellow sheet right there, Mary Beth, on at the top of the table next to your phone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, the way that template is laid out, we have to put all of the capital improvement projects on it in, so they go in like date order, 26, 27, 28. So, and it mixes in both the fire territory and the township. So this is just the township capital improvement plan for you all to view. Obviously, the top 2024 is just a review of what we did in 2024. 2025, we have the Training and Education Center. We've got plans to build out the community garden. And I know we've talked about this drainage infrastructure for some time now. This actually has helped us propel this project forward and get it moving. So we have some cash reserves that we're going to spend on that. We had some money allocated for 2025 already. So we'll be spending that money along with I believe next month, Michael will probably be bringing forward the additional appropriation of $747,000 for your approval. So that will also help us purchase the land for the third station. So you can see kind of 2026 is projected capital improvement plan is really more geared towards items for continuing to build out the community garden, plantings, amenities like pavilion, tables, benches, a nature area. We're looking at potentially putting in a greenhouse. We've got some cemetery improvements in our plan as well, including benches and signage updates, fencing in areas where we may need to redo some fencing. We only purchased a limited number of tables and chairs for this room because we've wanted to make sure, we were gonna use this room appropriately, so we'll probably look at additional furniture for this room. And then we, really what I will consider our contribution to roads and infrastructure, as it was kind of legally laid out, is we will be looking at putting in sidewalks that take you from the community garden space up to Broadway. So that will help support that infrastructure. And then obviously 2027 and 2028 are kind of far out there, but we did have to put together a 3-year plan. So that would be 26, 27, and 28. So 27 has us replacing potentially the roof on this building, some windows, because of the age of these windows, they're over 20 years old. Talking about a potential restroom building for the training in the garden, since that isn't currently in the project. And then additional funding for some sidewalks, because it's rather expensive to do concrete. And then 2028 has us looking at a trail connection on Broadway. So where the current trail ends at STS next door at 700 West Broadway, we would continue that connection up to Vitality Drive. So. Do you have any questions? Or
What's the
things?
pool vehicle?
Oh, yes. So we do have in the 2026 budget proposed an additional position. For, it would be a kind of a hybrid position between the township and the fire territory. So we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Okay.
But that vehicle would support that position and also provide a pool vehicle for township employees, which we currently don't have. And it would give us we're looking at probably purchasing a truck. Since we'll have the community garden in place, we'll need something to help probably move some things.
We should emphasize, this does not lock us in, correct? This is for planning purposes to show that we are strategically thinking about uses for our dollars and that we are strategically planning, correct?
That's correct. David, I don't know if you were on the board at the time. You two probably were. We did this in 19. But it was a 1-year thing for capital improvement planning, and it was precursor to trying to determine. There's always this push-pull at the state level of townships are sitting on extraordinary amounts of loose cash, and some are. Some cities are, some towns are, some counties are, and some are not. And so the idea that came through with the road bill this year was a number was generated of approximately $700 million that the state said townships are sitting on in undeployed cash. Well, some investigation was done as well. When did you take this snapshot? Was it in December after a December draw when 6 months of fire payroll were there? Did it include bond money that belonged to the Bank of New York Mellon? All these other things. Well, yeah, we don't know. So that's a high number. All this is doing is there is a belief in that bill, it's a kitchen sink bill, to try to draw fallow or inert money into infrastructure projects. When you are approached or you approach one of the units, and the only three units you would be able to kind of play with on this are the two towns in the county. Or subunits of them, you know, redevelopment commission, whatever. You can offer this forward. Or they can come knock on your door and say, hey, we've got a township-based project. They can't come from Greenfield and say, hey, we've got a Greenfield project. It's for something within the boundaries of the township. They can tell you what it is they'd like you to participate on, or you can knock on their door and say, hey, we'd like you to participate with us. And we've got this seed money to get started. It doesn't have to be spent on a yearly basis. It can stack and grow. And someone can approach you with a project and you can decline. You are under no obligation to participate in another unit's project. You can say, I don't think that's right for us. Or when it comes time, we'll do what's called a memorandum of understanding, to be something less than a contract, something more than a, hey, here, have some cash. In some places, there'll be commissioners roll out and say, hey, I see you've got $10,000. We're gonna do a little extra chip and seal in your township. How about it? That's a pretty easy agreement, pretty easy memorandum of understanding. Even before all this went down, in Delaware Township and Hamilton County, we've got an 8-unit collaborative project to build a pedestrian bridge over White River. That's kind of a thicker document. So more complexity, more document, simpler, less document. All you're doing now tonight is acknowledging that, yep, we have a plan. We will send it to the council and they will look at it and go, yep, that's a plan. No one has the authority to decline it or change it or whatever at that level. It's more of a check the box and there you go. All this is a looking forward document. You are not committed to go, well, we put it on the plan, we have to go spend that. Well, maybe circumstances change and something else is needed instead, or something doesn't work out. You don't have to spend the dollars according to the plan. The budget's what you spend your bucks according to. The budget's the truth. The plan is just a forward-looking document.
The county council meets tomorrow and we have forwarded this to them. And I will be there tomorrow to say, you have it. And
Where was that? I'm sorry.
the county council meets tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And we will be there to say, we have done as is required and provided it for your review.
You know if there'll be any other trustees presenting theirs?
There are no others who have submitted theirs.
We don't need to vote on this, do
Well,
So
we
we.
You have to
are-
do two things.
So the two items that are required, we have to have the public hearing
Open it for comment if anybody wants to.
and then we also have a resolution that we have to.
No. They sent it in the template.
So shall we
Required
start?
For the resolutions required,
Yes, that is required.
but it's just a plan.
Yeah, it's required as part of this document to be attached to it and submitted to, to be
Gateway.
submitted to Gateway when we submit it. So it just basically is acknowledging that you've reviewed this plan, you understand that it's been presented to you and you accept it as presented.
And the $16,505 is where on this plan?
It is not,
It's not in this plan?
not, because that is technically what you would consider fund, that money could be transferred to the road fund. And then that's when, like what Jeff said, then you could get a request from someone, another unit of government to help support a project with that money. So
That's what you were talking about, was the 16,505? Could be, okay.
Now, and I want to start at the very most elemental level. You guys have gone through their template and plugged all the pieces and parts into the template. What that template is supposed to translate is the statute is looking for what are called unrestricted funds. So anything that's not in the capital plan, put to a budget, township assistance, payroll, debt obligations, anything that's not spoken for. Then you do the capital plan on top of that to say, okay, these are our plans for these monies. And then if you have money that is really not directed toward any future project or any current dedication, an encumbrance, a contract, a loan, then a 30% of your unrestricted funds go to that. So rough math is what you have, just short of $50,000 of unrestricted funds.
Yeah.
And so 30% is going into that, and it just merely saying that it's available if a project should come forward. Now,
And unrestricted funds means it's not part of the plan.
pretty much, yeah, means it's not spoken for in the plan. Now, there is a consequence. And I think we'll hear about it as the year goes on. If a unit does not do this, if you do not do your CIP and you do not upload it to Gateway, DLGF is making very conciliatory noises about turning things into the council. If you don't do a CIP and turn it in by my birthday at the end of the next month, you don't get no budget. They will not approve your budget. So if this is a little off, sort of off, close, we don't, it's a planning document, but you do have to do it, or else they will withhold your levy for next year. There will be some units where their budgets are modest and their reserves are adequate, and perhaps they will listen and get it together next year. You guys can't go a year without your levy, so. There is a hammer at the end of next month, and her individually, me individually, us through ITA are ringing the bell as loud as we can to get on this. So is DLGF, but certainly someone will not answer the bell.
Even if the library thing, I assume that's a fell through, or is it still alive?
It's on the agenda, and they have sent a letter saying that they will not be building
So the
here.
drainage that we're required to put money for, is that covered under this? Or should be covered under this, or?
It's in the
It is.
capital improvement plan,
Yes.
so.
So is it part of this?
Yes, in 2020, you can see the monies for storm sewers and pond development
Aha,
right there.
I missed it, thank you.
And I think,
And I just remember it was a lot of money.
It is.
I think too, you could probably, if other players want to get involved, say, hey, I've got some of this infrastructure stuff. They call it the road bill, but it can be pedestrian paths, it can be drainage projects, it can be all kinds of infrastructure. You could go and say, hey, I've got a little over here as well. Let's kind of seed this project with these funds.
Who
So
would you say that to?
what's that?
Who would you be
have to-
saying that to?
Well, maybe the redevelopment commission.
We could sit down
Gotcha.
and update the MOU that we did with the library and update it to these new projects.
Okay,
We need to open up a public hearing for the Vernon Township capital plan. Is there any comments from the public?
There's only one individual on Zoom. I don't see anything in the chat.
I don't know that we take comment from the TV. I think it's just if you want to watch the show, you can watch, but.
Well, being nobody, no comments from the public, I move to close the public hearing. Well, we got paperwork to sign or had a resolution to,
You need to prove it. You know,
I did what to do.
yeah, but you just have to approve it.
You have to vote to approve the
The
capital
resolution.
improvement plan.
If that's what this resolution is,
Yeah.
okay. It'll be resolution number, whatever it is. A resolution authorizing the Vernon Township Capital Improvement Plan, be it resolved that a public hearing was held to adopt the capital improvement plan as required by Indiana Code 36-6-9 for Vernon Township, Hancock County. This plan is duly adopted by the following vote of members on the township board on September the 12th, 2025. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage in accordance with the law.
It's not
Adopted the 12th day of September 2025, Vernon Township, Hancock County, Indiana by ITS. So all in favor of what's a
Twenty
resolution?
25-8-12A.
I have the wrong date.
Yeah, and you need
Yeah.
to note that it's not September twelfth,
So it's
it's August
August.
12th.
I apologize.
That's okay. We'll update this to August. Well, we're kind of operating already in September.
2025 dash.
Thursdays that count.
8-12A.
It's only Tuesday.
All those in favor of this resolution, well, let's see, we need a motion to accept this resolution.
I make the motion that we accept this resolution as presented.
I second that.
Motion been made and seconded, we approve resolution 2025-8-12A. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries 3-0. So we've already done the township portion of it.
Yes, so we have completed the capital improvement plan. Jeff, unless we've got anything we're missing there. So the only next step is we will, as you said, we will take it to the county tomorrow and then we will upload it on Gateway.
Anytime after that, I
Okay.
mean, my guess is that this is gonna be a check the box with DLGF and that it will be a yes, no for yes, these units did it, no, these units didn't. I don't think they're gonna get into what the councils do. They've even issued some language saying they're not scrutinizing it.
Next up is RFQ for DOT project.
So in front of you, you have this document, this request for qualifications. This is for the potential improvements to township facilities and infrastructure. So this is essentially just the next step that we're gonna take to look at moving this project for the training grounds and the gardens forward. So we kind of went down one path in terms of how we were gonna pursue this project initially, and that was back in 2023, I believe. We were gonna go for a construction manager with Meyer and Agem. We have since kind of had a discussion with Meyer and Agem. We think this project is probably a bit small for where they're at now these days in terms of the kinds of projects they do. So what we'd like to do is have you review and approve the RFQ to be submitted to get qualifications for a bot project instead.
Which project are we talking about?
So this is the training grounds and the garden project, which includes all of that drainage work. So this just gives us the opportunity to go out and look for qualified partners under the bot statute to try to move this project forward.
Refresh my memory on the bot. I know it's,
Build, operate, transfer. So basically, it's the same methodology that we delivered the McCordsville Fire Station in. So we would go into partnership with a development company. The development company would have a not to exceed guaranteed maximum price for the project that was developed in collaboration between the fire territory and the township. Basically built through capital improvement plans, essentially. And then they would go out to market looking for partners to build and construct this project. And we would have the opportunity to find a development company or a development partner that suited us for that project. similar to what, and I know Dave wasn't here when we did engage in that process with Garmong. But you know, we had multiple bidders come back for the fire station. You know, with all relatively, you know, excellent qualifications, and we were able to choose the right partner for us.
DOT lets you vet developers on a qualification base of someone coming forward and said, I've done this one of one park project or this one of one trading ground project, instead of our current public procurement, which is, I may have only ever built a couple of rectangular Morton buildings, but I'm cheapest and most timely, therefore you're gonna have a hard time not hiring me, and they may not be very good at what you wanna do. So BOT lets you look at who has like a portfolio and says, yeah, I've done, you know, for instance, Doug Allman has a real unique one of one park. Debbie's gonna have a really unique one of one park, you know, and you can look at it and go, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense for what we're doing. Otherwise, whoever's on time and cheapest, you pretty much have to take, whether or not they know how to do your park or not.
So it's still a bid process, but you're not held to the lowest.
You're
bid
not
necessarily.
absolutely held to the lowest. I call it more of a value. You look at who can look at your number, deliver it in the range you want to be at, and can demonstrate they have a sense to be able to do what you want done. If you're doing a qualified, if you're doing a 1,500 square foot storage barn and, you know, it's 90-degree angles in every corner, I'd be like, I have no idea what you're doing at BOT. This is pretty unique. This is 2 or 3 different parts that fit together, all dealing with the land, plus you've got a substantial drainage component that's got to be dealt with.
Do we need a
We need a vote to move forward with the request for qualifications.
I make the motion that we move forward with today's date. Does that help the?
I did not fill in the dates on the RFQ on purpose because there'll be publication requirements and everything
Okay.
like that. So I wanted to bring it forward to you all. Then once it was approved, then we can fill in the required dates and everything.
I make the motion, we approve the RFQ as presented.
Second it.
motion's been made and approved that we approve the request for qualifications for the project here at Township property? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried 3-0.
Thank you.
Letter of intent to purchase land for Station 433.
Chief, would you like to speak to this?
Yep, so we've had been negotiating for a few months now on purchase of land for a future fire station, third fire station for Vernon Township. We identified an area, met with landowners, and they identified 2 parcels that they would be willing to sell us 2 acres from. I took that information, took it to our county GIS. Where you got, you got one, you got one. We had the county GIS run a time travel using their tools that they have. Identified this as the best parcel. With this parcel, if it's approved and we end up purchasing it and when we build on it, which again is going to be down the road as the growth happens.
What was it you said? The time, what, they figured the time?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. Hang
Well,
on.
I
Yeah.
said something I didn't understand, so that's.
So what they use the RGIS, we did time travel. So everything that's in the tan is 4 minutes from that location. Everything that's in the red is 5 minutes. With this land, once that station is built, I think we'll have 100%, if not 100, just under it, coverage of being able to get to any location within our township within that 4 to 5 minute travel time. Because of the way this township is shaped, being in a rectangular, we put them in a triangular pattern where the stations are currently at, and this one gives us really good coverage. 2 acres. 2 acres is what we have now for Station 2. And I think it would be sufficient to build a station on it in the future. Again, as the growth happens that way. The nice thing in this, we would have the land in place in our possession that we own it, and wouldn't have to go struggling to find land as the development's already there.
The letter of intent does not lock us into purchasing the land, but it starts the process of purchasing the land. Jeff, could you remind us of the process to purchase land?
So what we're doing is we're considering the non-binding letter of intent, which is not a contract, it's just an expression that the parties want to pursue a possible sale. The seller has presented chief with, some general terms. They gave it to me. I turned it into this. Couple of the nice things this provides is that for the period of investigation, we're the only party that's being allowed to investigate. They aren't shopping this around to all different folks and creating a bidding war, but it does give a period where we are the only exclusive party looking at this. I think also too, it kind of lays out some initial understanding so no one gets shocked when we do a purchase and sale agreement that, oh, well, now that you're really interested in this, I think I need 80,000 an acre or whatever. It's just an expression that we want to go forward. We're interested in this piece. It's worth it to set out these basic terms. And then all we'll need to do is set about doing some of the investigation. And I think on the meeting for the 17th, we should do the resolution where we actually say Flory is authorized to purchase if you've seen enough
17th.
of September. Because I think we all suspect it's going to appraise well and be a value at the 50,000 an acre, but we still have to get to appraisals that say it's no more than this amount. We don't have to pay that amount. We just can't pay more than that amount. So I think they're being kind of conscientious and wanting to support the department. If for some reason we find something icky or ugly or something weird happens or it just isn't in due diligence what we want to buy, then we don't buy it.
What's the extra 50,000 allocated for the land purchase?
Well, you're gonna have closing costs and title fees and all of those kinds of things. So I think it was just, we felt like it was prudent to build in additional monies into that. We'll have to pay for the surveys and things like, those are not things that we anticipated. Costs we anticipated for 2025. So that gives us the ability to go ahead and move that forward.
And we believe they're being quite generous in their rate, and they asked us to please cover the cost of the additional fees. And I think that's prudent on our part.
Will this be right on the corner?
Yeah, which corner was it again?
400 west and 700 north, the northwest corner.
Northwest.
We should point out that, just in full disclosure, obviously, it's going to be some time until utilities are run to this area. But we don't anticipate building for quite some time until development comes to that. But we do need to secure land so that we're ready when the time comes.
I'd make a recommendation if you can get it closed by the end of the year, then it goes to 000 for taxes for next year. If you buy it in the first quarter of next year, you get to pay the taxes. Our prior assessor was very generous with us, but it was difficult on getting some taxes cleared.
We need a motion.
We need a
Well,
motion.
Isn't there a need for a fire station? Like if the utilities aren't there for 5 years, but you have a need for a station sooner than that, we're stuck waiting 5 years for, because that area I remember you saying that's an area that's difficult to cover time wise. So,
Utilities will be within a half mile to the north of it. Fire within a year, and they're already within about a mile, well, about 3/4 of a mile
yeah,
to the south and the west. It,
so it's probably not gonna be a big deal.
no, it won't.
It's not gonna delay it. Gotcha.
And worst case scenario, we could sell the land and purchase another piece of land someplace else. That is the worst case scenario, would you?
Oh, yeah.
Assume.
Well, don't ask a lawyer the worst case. scenario.
I mean, the need for the station isn't gonna be
Yeah.
there until the development is there. So if it gets to a point run load wise where we need another piece of equipment, we'll put another piece of equipment in one of our existing fire stations. So this location is ideal for response time purposes to serve our community.
Instead of reacting, you're planning, hey, you're gonna need this. If we get 3 or 4 years down the line and the development's not materializing for whatever reason, then there's something else going on with the problem. All you've done is you've banked an asset that once the development gets there, you're not getting it for 50K an acre at all. I mean, so it's an investment, and if for some reason it doesn't work, you just take it back to market.
My only question is what is that whole corner is, all 4 corners? Do we need 3 acres? Cause you're probably going to put a retention pond in them.
I think we had it, well, I don't know.
Definitely don't want the south
Right.
700, cause that's a frog pond. In the northeast corner, there's water stands right north of the intersection on the east side. This is the best corner, but it's a little bit wet. I'm afraid you're gonna have to put a pond in. If you have to put a pond in, then you're gonna cut into your size of your fire station, so.
Well, then I wonder if that wouldn't be a discussion when a developer comes up to that, because I would assume a development would come towards that property. So hopefully we could get a partnership with whoever ends up developing the rest of that land to do just
To
that and
take
have,
our- to
and
take
provide
our
the retention
runoff.
somewhere.
But if we're first, then we're putting it in.
Well, we won't build, I'll say never say never, but I doubt very seriously that we're the first to go in there. I mean, we'd have a fire station sitting there not doing very much. It would be once the development's there. So I would say that once that development starts coming this way, as we start the negotiation, and it'll probably be annexed through McCordsville, and they've been very good to work with. I'm sure that we can have them help us out with that.
Yes, McCorsville's just half a mile straight left of there right now.
Correct.
Hancock County's largest rock is.
How much land is on the other stations? Is it an acre or 2 acres?
So the station in McCordsville is almost exactly 2 acres.
This is 2.6.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. It's somewhere in the neighborhood. So they're all roughly about the same size. So we're not getting anything less than what we currently have in McCordsville. And a lot of times it's just dependent upon which way you need to situate the building as to, how you configure the building and where your bays are located versus where your living's located. So.
I was just wondering, I have no clue, I mean, visually, how much space is in it, 2 acres, but. I think,
You don't have the luxury of having gone through the process that we've been through twice, so.
I mean.
That's a fair question. I think 2 acres.
To Tim's point, like, if now would be the time to get additional, if you need additional room to move the ladder truck around or whatever. I don't know what your needs are exactly, but rather than.
Well, we're looking at,
confinement.
we're committing to I shouldn't say committing. We're investigating at approximately 2 acres. Now, 3 acres isn't approximately 2, but 2 2/10 is approximately 2. I mean, if it's, you gotta look at it and talk to them once you get your survey done and once you do a little engineering, it's like, we right away here, right away there, they're gonna lay off these frontages eventually because those roads will develop as well.
Right now, Station Two sits on 2 acres. It was supposed to be a 3-bay firehouse. It's a 2-bay firehouse. We've got plenty of room for parking, for everything. Now, no, we don't have the retention. Again, it runs off onto another developer's site, that's what we're talking about, what we will do with this. I think 2 acres is plenty.
And we didn't, the one thing that we had to compete with when we had developed the site for Station 432 was Leo's had already committed to having the neighborhood on one side and the Leo station on the other side. So our configuration, trying to optimize the way that that station was laid out, was a lot driven by knowing what was on. They did not want our apparatus to exit out onto their drive for their neighborhood. The apparatus needed to exit, need to come in and enter from the Leo side if it was gonna come and go. So there were some nuances, I think, to that 2 acres that made it a little bit more challenging. This may not be quite that situation.
That drainage was taken care of.
Mhm.
We didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
This, we could potentially have to, but more than likely not if we were gonna wait for the development to come, so.
Mhm.
So we need a motion to approve this letter of intent.
Yes.
I make the motion that we approve the letter of intent to purchase 2 acres of undeveloped real estate at 700 west, or 700 north and 400 west,
Northwest corner.
northwest corner.
Second it.
Motion's been made and approved. We accept the letter of intent to purchase property at 700 west, 400 north on the northwest corner from Jacoby Legacy Farms. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the same. Motion carried 3-0.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to sign it. I will sign that and send it over to the Jacobys. Next is the creation of the road fund. So this is also a legislative requirement. Jeff, do you want to speak to this?
Well, the highest wager I'll ever make anybody, and you don't want to wager with me because I don't leverage myself very much, is a cold pop. I will bet anybody in this room a cold pop that this will be the first road fund created in the state of Indiana. So your trustee is doing an excellent job of being on top of and in front of this road bill. The bill requires that a fund be created. Doesn't require necessarily that the fund be populated. You just have to create the fund. So we've created donation funds before. We have our special donation fund for Mrs. Flack and other things. So all we're doing is, with the creation of the fund, taking our township spreadsheet, our township ledger, and taking our ruler out and drawing a line and writing road fund at the top. We are just segmenting one column that if in fact our 16 and middle change is our unrestricted money, that will then pour over and just sit there and chuck along, make a little interest with the bank. And that's all we're doing, is just making a fund. You really don't have a lot of choice because it's required in the 2025 legislation. And all you're doing is making the fund.
This is part of Senate Bill 1.
No, this is part of the road bill, which is 1471, 1741.
I don't know.
Who
this-
knows? It's
a,
whatever.
No, it must be House and Rolled Act 1461, because that's what it says at the top of this.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't know.
It's under the road bill. It was not part of Senate Enrolled Act 1.
yeah, it's the road fund. Road fund.
And then it does have some language in there, just memorializing what else is in there, that until we have someone that wants to do a memorandum of understanding with us on a project, it just sits there, and then you guys will have to approve that when it's time for a project.
from a sponsoring local unit, what's an example of that?
County or either of the towns or a subdivision of either of them, which could be redevelopment commissions. Of any of them, really.
So it could be the town of Fortville doing the sidewalk and connecting the path and the trails. It could be the drainage project and the drainage for this TIF district.
It'd be used for actual roads, improving the roads.
Sure. Now, I don't know how much linear footage you're gonna get out of $17,000.
Right.
Our money is so small in this that it probably makes more sense that we would focus on the two projects we have already identified.
I'm not against saying you could try that. It's a public space. I mean, what I can
It
foresee,
might buy
a
the cones out in front of.
million years ago, I was a planner with the city of Minneapolis, and there used to be a program where if subdivisions wanted new top coat, they could basically buy their way up the list. I could really see this as being, this won't even pay the engineering for a small project. But you might get someone's attention if you stack this 3 or 4 years and it comes up a little bit, say, hey, I have enough for the engineering bill or the design bill or the soft costs, and you might then get other contributors. We were at the RBC and, they were talking about everybody's slice of the stack to do that project if the library came in. It's your way to pitch in and try and get interest and motivation in a project, but people are sorely mistaken if they think there's enough residual money in the townships to get actual linear footage of road done. There's just not enough.
Do you two want Cory to read this? The
No,
whole resolution, or do you,
No.
since you've already read it? Does one of you want to make a motion to accept the
I make
resolution
the motion.
2025-8-12B?
I make the motion that we approve the creation of the Vernon Township Road and Infrastructure Fund. Resolution 2025-A-12B.
Second.
Motion been made and second, we approve resolution number 2025-8-12B, which is the resolution of the Board of Vernon Township, Hancock County of Indiana, establishing the Vernon Township Road and Infrastructure Fund. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried 3-0.
You think we're first in the state, Jeff?
I bet you.
Okay.
You need to be second, or you can be first.
Just don't be last. There's no prize, but there's a punishment.
Next up is budget.
So first is the 2026 fire territory budget was referred to the township by the territory board, the Portville Town Council, and the McCordsville Town Council. It has now been referred to the township board to absorb into the township budget. Do you have any questions on the fire territory budget for the chief? I think everybody has seen it multiple times. I think we just need a vote to accept the fire territory budget.
I think if I recall in our, and I told you guys at the time, once you got to do this, you're gonna hate it, but when you set up, there was a back and forth of all the participants get the opportunity to look at it. All you're doing is saying, okay, put it into your master budget. This is not an approval of the territory budget. Nor is it an approval yet of your budget. That comes in your normal process. So we have to do this now. So it gets into your budget. So when you do your budget, it's all there. So we beat November 1st or October 30th. Whatever, the cutoff.
You one of you will make a motion to accept the Vernon Township Fire Territory budget as presented.
I make the motion that we accept the proposed 2026 budget to be placed into the Vernon Township 2026 budget.
Second it.
Motion been made second. We approve the Vernon Township Fire Territory budget for 2026. And will be placed into the Vernon Township budget for 2026. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Fire Territory budgets accepted for our budget.
Okay, then we will move to the township, the 2026 draft township budget. Stacy, would you like to? Sure.
If you look into this is got a lot of columns on it, but really the one you really want to look at is the 2026 recommended budget, the yellow highlighted for the township. I'm just gonna go over a couple of basic changes. Obviously, this is just the draft budget. Michael will have more to present when he comes next month with his fiscal plan, but a couple of highlights. One, we have increased the salary of the trustee. I think in all fairness, the trustee position has lagged behind the rest of the township salaries for a number of years. And so I think we have the opportunity now to kind of make a correction and move that back in the right direction. So we've proposed an increased salary for that position. The rest of the positions are just a 3% increase as we've had in the past. So this is gonna kind of go back, but in 2024 or 2025's budget, we had a director of IT position in there. The intention was to carry half of Noah's salary through the township's budget. We've fully incorporated his salary into the territory's budget, so we now have some additional salary money that we're looking at redeploying into some additional positions. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on those positions yet because we'll bring you job descriptions and all of that stuff yet. But right now we're looking at doing probably a garden manager position, which would be like an annual stipend for someone to really run the community garden. Once that space is built out, we'll need someone who will be in charge of that during those times when, from early spring until, late fall, early winter. And help guide the education, not only just the land management, but the education for that space. We are looking at a community outreach coordinator position. I think talked about a little bit about this earlier. This will be a joint position between the township and the fire territory, bringing in some components of a mobile integrated health. So we're working on getting all those job descriptions fleshed out for you guys to review, but for right now, they're kind of placeholder positions in the 26 budget. What we have done as a result is we have shifted Jenny's position out of the township general fund budget and put her back into township assistance. And I know we've had this discussion a couple of times, but we're building cash in the township assistance budget fund. We have been building it for I don't know how many years, all the years I've been here, so that's at least 6 years. So this would be a way to start utilizing some of that money, that cash reserve. It's in a restricted fund, so it can't go to the road fund, it can't do anything else, and it really has to be put back into township assistance, so this would be a way to help kind of spend down some of that cash. Outside of that, we've made some modifications and made some adjustments. We are looking at bumping up some repairs and maintenance types of things around here and getting somebody engaged as a contractor to do some more work for us, as far as property management type of stuff. So that's where some of these small increases will come in. And then the capital plan that you saw does outlay some capital improvements, and that would be what we had in the plan that you saw earlier. Any questions on the township general fund budget?
I don't see anything for weed control. Do we not do weed control?
So weed control is actually noxious weed complaints that we might get. If we got them, we would put some money in there, but we haven't had one in 6 years that I've been here. So we keep putting money in there and then we're not really spending it. I consider anything that we do in terms of weed control for this building or for the cemeteries to fall underneath either the repairs and maintenance or the cemeteries, the care cemeteries. So we
A
do
different fund.
do a different appropriation line. So, yeah, and some of these appropriations have been in here forever in this budget.
I thought the county did a weed control board.
Yeah. They do have a noxious weed.
Why do they need a township weed control board?
I think we're required statutorily.
It's responsible for noxious
We're
weeds.
responsible,
County is.
but you have a good point. We'd have to look into it because there is a section in the statute about if there's a county weed board. I have to look. It's been a minute.
When I was county commissioner during the summer, that was a hot item.
Sure, oh, I bet.
And I think they done forgot about it this year.
Yeah,
There's thistles growing everywhere.
yeah. Well, and as you
This is
suburbanize,
growing
What?
everywhere.
the towns
And I have a
probably
dumb
have
question.
code
When is
enforcement too.
weed control necessary? Is it somebody's not taking care of their yard and you have to go cut it for them or
It's-
something? Or
it's-
It's invasives.
It's invasive, noxious, detrimental plants is the definition.
Mm,
And there has to be, it can be an ag to ag component or an ag to residential component. But if it's neighbor to neighbor, subdivision to subdivision lot, I don't think we have any play in it at all. But I'm a little surprised you don't have more. I think it's because people don't understand as people are moving out toward rural areas. And they're like, oh, I don't like the look, the smell, all things that they can make a weed complaint.
I need to complain about my neighbor.
Wait till we're off record. Or if you want to do it on record, go ahead.
I'll wait.
So any questions about, we're not voting on anything or anything. This is just your first look at it. So if something sticks out to you, and you've got a question, feel free to reach out to me. We're gonna move on. The next, is the direct township assistance budget. I believe there is a document in your hands. It's got yellow up top on it that
That one?
Scott talks about where we're at this year so far for township assistance. We are growing. It's clear, we definitely have more need, than we've had in the past. So we have made some modifications to that budget, and increased some of those lines that I feel like will probably, need additional monies in. Overall, though, the budget is pretty much staying stable. So,
Did you say Jenny's being paid out this now?
yes. And then the last page on this, does show where I have, moved Jenny over to this welfare administration. So her salary, her benefits, and insurance and everything will be covered out of this fund. So. And we've had this discussion, we had it last year with Michael, we decided to leave it like it was, but I feel like now is probably the time to start, there's several $100,000 in cash in that fund, and it can't be used for anything else other than township assistance, so. Any other questions or anything else?
Texas, one big tornado got through certain parts of the township, and this fund would be
Thanks, Tim.
whole.
Thank you.
I hope that, well, I'm gonna hope that never happens. We will be here though, if that ever happens.
That's the point.
We don't need a vote on this, then,
No,
This is just your
the information.
opportunity for first draft. Our next September 17th, we will have our public hearing. And then in October, we will have our adoption vote. Next, we do need to look at our appeal above the maximum levy. The maximum levy appeal has been approved by the Fortville Town Council and the McCordsville Town Council. They both voted in July, and we do have copies of those approved votes. We now have the petition for the appeal, and this was advertised.
and this is just for the fire territory. We are pursuing an appeal for the fire territory, so. And it is substantial. Is it $850,000?
It is 950,000. And so the petition to appeal for an increase above the maximum levy. Hancock County, state of Indiana has determined to appeal to Department of Local Government Finance for an excess property tax levy. It's a 3-year growth appeal factor for 950,000. We do hereby resolve to proceed with the petition for an excess property tax levy to the DLGF to increase the taxing unit's maximum levy. And we represent that the taxing unit cannot carry out its governmental functions under its current maximum levy for the ensuing calendar year without the excess levy. It would be adopted 12th day of August 2025. And just a reminder, the funding for this, Chief, we've talked about the emphasis will be on the staffing for the second ambulance.
Correct. Yes, we would hire 6 additional people if we get the funding. And that would go to put the medic in service with the dedicated crew, unlike it is right now with the split crew between the engine and that medic.
We do not feel like the township is in desperate need of money, and the emphasis here is in desperate need of money to operate. We are looking at the growth in the number of runs and the overlap in the number of runs, and we feel that we want to make sure that the strength of our appeal is completely focused on fire and EMS. This is going to be a tough shot. This is our last opportunity at a growth appeal. And we know the growth appeals have been eliminated, and it's going to be a tough ride to get this.
Just add on to what Flory said. Our runs are up 7% from this time last year. Our EMS call volume is up 8%. 20% of our calls happen at the same time with just 2 going on, and then there's an additional percentage or 2 where we got 3 or 4 all at the same time. So, I mean, we can justify the need for the additional people. It's just whether or not they're willing to approve.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve the appeal?
Go ahead, Dave.
I make the motion that we approve the petition to appeal for an increase above the maximum levy in the amount of $950,000.
This is for the Vernon Township Fire Protection Territory. Not the township.
Yeah, for the fire protection territory.
I second.
What's been made and approved, we approve the petition to appeal for an increase above the maximum levy of $950,000 for the Vernon Township Fire Protection Territory. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried 3-0. Runner.
The-
You said Vanna.
That's in your honor.
Very good. What was the next part? Your part? Finance.
All right. So in front of you, you've got this document. It says Vernon Township through 6/30/2025. These are your financial reports for the second quarter. If you look at the top grouping, this is the general fund. You can see we're at 35% spent on personnel services, 23% on supplies, 86% on services and charges. That is a little bit skewed because that's that transfer from the township to the fire department. And that is a substantial amount of money. I think it was $599,765 this year. So that's why it's 86% spent, because we've gone ahead and transferred that lit money, and 5% on the capital outlays. We're definitely gonna underspend our personnel budget this year. Obviously, we had money carved out for that IT position, so we'll underspend that budget. So feel very comfortable with where we're at 57%, even though it's 50% time elapsed. Transferring all that money at one time, you know, tends to skew that number a little bit, so. On the Township Assistance Fund, we're at 22% and 45%. So the other direct poor relief includes your housing and your utilities, which is primarily where we spend the majority of our monies. So even though we are trending ahead of where we were last year, we are still under budget, based on, you know, the percent of time elapsed this year. So I believe Jenny's report indicates that we've got as many township assistance cases this year, almost, we're about, is it 30 behind where we had the total number last year. So, you know, and we do have a lot of demand, but we're still well within what we've budgeted. So I feel pretty comfortable with those numbers. Next page shows you where we're at with the fire. Obviously 50% time elapsed, and 44% of the total budget spent. Personnel is 44%, supplies are 26%, services and charges are 41%, capital outlays is 64%, and obviously a lot of that is driven by this project here, and that spending, so. And on the 8692, which is the Special Fire Protection Equipment Fund, it's 15%, but this is a matter of timing of payments and when they come out of that fund, so. Questions on the second quarter finances for any reason? Your next page is the debt schedule. So this is tells you kind of where we're at in terms of what has been paid to date, what has been paid within this quarter. So in second quarter of this year, we paid for the lease rental bonds for the station here and lease rental bonds for the station in McCordsville. So we've got some remaining principal and interest payments due this year, accordingly. And then the last page is the investment report. So you can see the top is the Vernon Township account. The ending balance right now is 824.92. So earned income for the quarter was $8,729. Obviously, we're not earning as much interest as we have in the past, but we're still earning a significantly more interest than if we kept that money at Greenfield Bank.
Do you know what the percent's 4 point?
Yes, it should say up there. So the average yield is 4.2679. obviously it's not earning above the fives, which is where we were at last year, but that's just a factor of, where we are economically. I will say the fire territory has opted to put additional monies in on a monthly basis to Trust Indiana. The township would have the ability to do that if you so choose to add additional funds to this. We're not restricted because this is not a long-term investment, it's a liquid investment, and the money can be moved back and forth. So think about that if the township would like to invest and earn some additional interest, maybe over the next 6 to 12 months while we're waiting for some of these projects to move forward. We've got a substantial amount of cash that we've tied up in our capital plan, but it's not going to be expended immediately.
It would only make sense to put it in here and draw interest, and it would be to keep it where it's at.
I agree. So I can't make that decision for you. So you all make a recommendation for what you would like to do. We will be happy to make that transfer.
How much?
Well, let's see. I mean, as of right now,
Out of our general,
yeah, I would, I tell you what, if you would like, I can make, we have $1 million that we were gonna put towards that capital improvement plan for this year. The majority of that will not a lot of it will likely not all be expended this year because of just timing of things. So it's up to you. I can run those numbers and
Why
come
don't
back.
you look at it and at our next
Meeting,
meeting,
make a recommendation.
let us know what is eligible.
Sure, absolutely.
Could you go ahead and do $500,000 now and get the numbers back to us for next month and maybe do possibly more?
Yeah, 30 days.
Yeah,
That's
we can
30
do
days
that.
of interest.
Yeah, we know we've got
Yes.
$500,000 that we could easily.
Yes.
I make the motion that we transfer out of our general fund 500,000 to Trust Indiana.
I second it.
Motion been made and seconded to transfer $500,000 from the township general fund into Trust Indiana at this time, and then Stacy will notify us that September 17th,
17th.
we can transfer more. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I will-
3-0.
Do this exactly like I do for the fire territory. I will send you a message notifying you when I make the transfer so that you're aware.
Then I believe we need a vote to
Oh,
accept
accept the
the second
financials.
quarter finance debt and investment reports.
Make the motion that we approve the second quarter finance and the second quarter debt reports as presented.
I second.
Motion been made and seconded. We approve the second quarter finance report and the second quarter debt report as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Motion carried 3-0.
Can we talk about the temporary loan?
So I know that this isn't kind of an exercise that we have to do every single year. And we've already done this once this year. However, in the reconciliation at the 6-month mark, Michael and I noticed that the original amount that we had authorized for transfer for that temporary loan fell short. So rather than have a negative balance on the books, we would like to clear that up. That money goes back to the 8604 by the end of the year anyway. It's just a function of, the accounting of that. So the amount in order to make that so it's not negative would be $15,131.25. And those temporary loans are always repaid by December 31st. And this is all a function of timing that was not filed correctly on the bond for the other station, so.
Much longer. It's a 10-year.
Yeah, until the end.
Yeah, he didn't file.
There's a lot
Twenty twenty-seven?
Yeah.
No, 2029.
Oh.
29.
We did it at the start of this a minute
We'll
ago.
have to change the date on this resolution because it shows 20th day of August.
I'm sure I'm changing it to the 12th.
2 mistakes.
Oh, my gosh.
I caught that, 'cause that's my birthday.
Apparently,
I can't
keep anything straight anymore.
Your calendar.
We haven't voted yet.
Oh.
They call
Chop, chop.
tractors or tractors and cows and things all. There we go.
This is C, right?
Hard to got that on there.
Wow.
We got the hang of it now. That's my third one. Did somebody make a motion to accept this resolution?
I make the motion that we move a temporary loan in the amount of $15,131.25 into the 8604 fund.
Into the 1181
Oh.
fund from 8604.
Okay. 11, moving funds from the 1181 into the
Yeah, right here,
8604.
like-
Okay.
Into the 1181 from 8604.
Oh, okay,
From
yes.
Special Fire General Fund 8604.
Do you want me to redo it?
No. Did you second it, Dave?
No, I was waiting. I second it.
Motion been made and approved, or made a motion and seconded that we approve resolution number 2025-8-12C. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Resolution carries.
All I know is-
There you go, Vanna.
Got promoted. The last item under finances that the 2025 arbitrage was filed on Station 432, and we only do it on Station 432 because of the size of the bond issuance on that one. You want me to keep going?
Yep.
The next one, the library board letter, we did receive official withdrawal letter from the library board from their letter of intent to accept the land donation from Vernon Township. I think everybody received a copy. I know they very much wish to come here. However, their financial situation and their special legislation did not pass. So they have withdrawn. I did send a response thanking them for working through the process with us and recognizing their withdrawal. Would you like me to go on to community engagement? Okay. I don't know why I put all my notes on here, but the Junior Green Thumb in June and July, I just want to recognize it was a very successful 8-week program. I don't know if everybody saw the article in the paper on it, but a really nice write-up on it. Great program with the Master Gardeners and the Mount Vernon teachers. This was funded through our SARE grant through the Department of Agriculture. We do have some remaining money from that grant, and we are going to go back to Purdue Extension and SARE. It is a 2-year grant, and we are going to request use of it for 2026 and propose an idea for 2026 that we think will be appropriate. There are also some social media videos that are being posted out that some of the kids did that are super cute. And the surveys that came back from the parents and from the kids were just super. So great use of this room, great use of the gardens. And each of the 2 groups, the June and July groups, also went through the fire station and so I really appreciate the fire department assisting on that. And Mary Beth, would you add anything to that?
It was amazing.
It really was amazing. We are partnering with Versity on August 28th. Scooters, Three Rivers Credit Union, STS Next Door, and Advanced Dental from 12 to 4 here in our parking lot doing a blood drive. And so if anyone would like to come and donate blood, it will be a Labor Day football theme and lots of giveaway items from all of our partners. Public Safety Day, October 4th, 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Please put that on your calendars.
That'll be held here.
Yes.
And then we will begin our Casa Holiday Bag outreach here in the next few weeks. And the Casa Holiday Party is going to be on December 6th. The Indiana Township Association Conference is September 21st through the 24th at Embassy Suites in Noblesville. And Mary Beth, you're confirmed to come. David, Tim, you'll be in the fields. Are you gonna be working?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Let me know. We are in the early bird sign up. So we do need to go ahead and get everyone registered to get the early bird rate. We already gave out the township assistance report and we'll come back and get into more detail on it. We wanted to give it out tonight as we were getting into budget. Did I move fast enough?
New business,
Good job.
old business, legal update.
We are set, waiting to get a final confirmation from the mediator that I have always wanted to use, Pete Schroeder. They have acknowledged my request and they're running conflict check right now to make sure that they haven't represented any of parties participating, but provided I hear something good, she and I will be downtown on October 9th, arm wrestling with the architects. We only have a contract with Access, but on the face of the contract, it says that Circle did the mechanical design. Access called Circle and said, hey, you know, we've got this M&A report that says this HVAC doesn't work very well. I've given them several items already. And so we will give them one more item, which is our breakdown of the costs with invoices. Beyond that, I'm happy to, outside of the meeting, if you've got any individual questions, answer them. That's the big issue. The big issue is getting the building properly heated and cooled during these summer months. And we're moving forward on that. The miscellaneous work, of which there's some overlap from the original construction manager of Envoy. That's been harder to get them to participate. They have had some difficulty with their adjuster and just late summer vacations, this, that, and the other. He and I, they do have an attorney. Put it this way, he and I had a heart to heart, and I let him know that my client has had a couple heart to hearts with me. And she's about out of heart to hearts with me, and I'm just going back up and let them deal with her. And so I've gone back to the contract, and the contract we've tried to say, hey, come forward, mediate with us. There is a formal mechanism where I go to the American Arbitration Association, say, I am lodging my demand that we mediate pursuant to the terms of the contract. And he recognized that that is in there. And
Who is this you're talking about? I'm sorry.
Envoy's attorney.
Okay.
And basically what that will do is that will add several hundred to low $1,000s of AAA just saying, do you really mean to do this? So I'm trying to avoid that. So we should know by noon on the 26th about their coverage. First, we didn't make an adequate claim. Then they're saying, well, we're going to argue over coverage. Insurance wants to receive premiums and does not want to pay claims. So we're doing that dance. Essentially, we're getting ready to throw down the gauntlet and say, you gave us this contract and you're requiring mediation. I mean, we're asking you to do it. Do it. He was apologetic about the amount of time it's happening, you know. That doesn't really get your issues resolved. I am pleased that we are making progress and we're gonna hopefully be mediating with someone that I find in my practice to have been very effective on construction matters and has a very good reputation in this, and all parties on the design side wanted him. Plus, he's a IHSAA wrestling referee too, so that doesn't hurt anything.
The other business from you? Notice the mayor.
We, I think, already hit on the fact that they have withdrawn and we've given them notice as the scope and the scale of what we were working on.
Any new business then? Any announcements? Next meeting is September the 17th of 2025. Be the public hearing for the 2026 budget. Being no further information is needed, a call to adjourn at 7:57. Meeting adjourned. Come on, I didn't go by it.
Not too bad.